Hello and welcome to this special edition Plan With Me. So I didn't quite get to figuring out my work week for over the weekend, so I thought I would go ahead and do a plan with me with you guys. So to get us started, I am pulling up some compass cards. So these are actually from Franklin Covey, and I like to keep some extras in my planner. So these are obviously not the same ring configuration because Franklin Covey likes to do its own thing, even though Filofax and Kikki.K both have the same ring configuration for my size. You know, Franklin Covey just marches to the beat of a different drummer. So here's what I do. I usually keep 2 in my planner kind of at the ready. So I am just covering up the holes with washi tape. This week we're using Disney Princess washi tape, which my friend gave me. These live in the back of my planner, so it's not too important that they look any particular way. Some weeks I decorate the compass cards. A lot of weeks I don't because they travel with me by the day, so they kind of need to look consistent. And that's a lot of work to think through. So there we go, we have covered it up with washi. I now have my punch, this is kind of a generic punch that I got on sale, I think, at Hobby Lobby or Michael's, something like that. I've got it set up to do A5, which is the size. This is not A5. Franklin Covey uses classic size instead of A5. We're not entirely sure what the difference is. There's a slight difference, but it doesn't matter too much because I am just going to repunch those suckers, and then they tend to live back here in my supplies area. We can just pop them in here for now, and that's looking good. Now we need one for this week. This is obviously like a month's worth, so these are perforated, so I just fold it over and then I just rip it off. It works pretty well. I've never had it like rip through the whole thing or anything hopelessly inappropriate like that. I apologize for not being completely in the thing. I've never done a plan with me before, so bear with me. All right, so now we've got the card. Now I like to have mine in here, so I'm gonna go ahead and punch the weekly compass card just like this. Oh, see, this is one reason I don't like this. It gets stuck on that one loop. I don't know exactly what to do about it. Okay, so I got my holes, so now I just kind of clip them. And, you know, I rip this in and out of my binder between probably 5 and 10 times a week. This is not super durable paper, but it is pretty heavy, so it can take the kind of abuse I gotta dish out. And now I've got my weekly compass card ready to go. So what I usually do is I go back to the previous week, which for some reason is on Tuesday. That's fun. And I just take a look at the rolls. These rolls change at different times, so I like to check in with what I did last week. So I'm just gonna write those down. I got student, scholar. I like differentiating those because sometimes the BS of being a student is different than the kind of activities you need to do to advance your career as a scholar and not just as a bureaucrat. Sometimes those have very meaningful differentiations on my list and sometimes they don't. So, but I always put them there. As a philosophy citizen, this kind of varies a lot. There are times of the year where this is quite significant. Summer, it's not usually as pressing. GOA is obviously not something that always lasts, and teacher is a new addition to my list. Okay. So I get those down and then I get the dates. To figure out the dates, I usually go to my monthly spread because it just helps my brain to see it in that kind of scale. We are looking at July 16th right now through the 22nd. This is a Monday start. In case that hurt anyone's brain, I'll let my camera focus a little bit. Okay, so we have got the date written down, we have got the categories going, we are now ready to go back here to Monday. Now, where the heck do we start? Well, last week, if you recall, or if you've seen the video, We got through the 5 readings on the meditation chapter, and I have a to-do list right now for the narrativism chapter. Those are the big 2 research things that need to go on. So I think as a student, I want to begin working the narrativism to-do list. This is as a student because comments from your advisor, if you haven't gotten to this part in your career, or if you work a non-academic job and you just know like comments from your boss on a report or something like that, there are lots of things that are kind of objective features of your work that you need to adjust, but there are also things that are like meeting the particular preferences of the scholar. My advisor is pretty good, I think, at focusing less on his personal preferences and more on the substance, but there's always little things, you know, it's just a preference thing. So we'll put that under student. And then under scholar, I want to free write every day on the meditation chapter. This chapter has kind of stalled, and I did these readings. The last reading was the only one that really resonated with me, and it was kind of dense. So I want to be free writing because I need to kind of get a feel, figure out why I don't think these other readings were tracking with my thoughts so well. So I'm just going to free write. Maybe something really concrete's going to come out of that, maybe not, but I don't feel ready right now to like make an outline or something. I need to kind of get this stuff under my belt and really figure out if I need to do further readings, and free writing is how I do that. As a girlfriend, I need to, there's lots of potential things I could do. So right now I'm just kind of thinking through what's going on. We have our anniversary this week. We have that Thursday event, and we're going on a trip this week. So I think the most pressing thing is those final trip logistics. We tried to get an Airbnb and it fell through. Like the guy just was like, I don't want your money, which is a weird choice for them. As a daughter, I need to, the most important thing is secure the needed materials for the trip. This is just helping my father get all this stuff together. As a philosophy citizen, it's not obvious what to do. As a GOA, I still need to get my teammate set up, so I need to schedule a meeting. And then as a teacher, so we need to take a moment to evaluate the teacher thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you guys back over here to my 2018 summer task list. So this is a 4-month document that laid out exactly what I thought I would get done this summer. I created this basically in May. I sent it to my advisor and was like, is this reasonable? And he thought it was reasonable, so yay. But here we are. We've gotten through May. I did everything I was supposed to do with a little bit of editing there. June, I didn't complete the reading list, but I did do it. I did do it last week by finishing up those 5 things. I haven't been keeping up. This is the actual list of things. I haven't been keeping up with this, but I have gone through most of this. I suppose I haven't read the, no, I think I did read back. I need to check on that. But some of these things I kind of just decided weren't pertinent to my project, or I just kind of said this is future research and I need to focus on this right now. But I have basically done this. I did it in July though, so we'll just mark it there. Okay, good, yay. Philosophy of mind, I've actually basically done. This thing went a bit smoother than I expected. So we can cross that off. That's gonna change what I need to do as a teacher. I think the thing that's most pressing for teacherdom is I need to come up with their second essay assignment. And I need to decide if I am going to give a day of class time to helping them get started on that assignment or not. So I think we're gonna do that. Let me see what else we got going here. We did the Religious Institute statements. I have a draft of the diversity statement, and then website review dossier. Those are things that need to happen for the job market. I also have this teaching portfolio. I don't know how I'm going to do that because I haven't taught yet. Also, this thing is due August 1st, so this is obviously something that needs to happen over here. So let me go over here, and we'll just write down teaching portfolio. Because, you know, sometimes the details when you make a thing in May change. Okay, so I could work on the teaching portfolio. I could work on the website. The website, I need a consult with my boyfriend because he has some online space that he was willing to host. So I need to check in with him on that. So maybe this week we'll just work on the teaching portfolio, and I'm going to call that my thing as a philosophy citizen. Portfolio, however you spell that. Okay, that's pretty good. Now, revise chapter 5. So chapter 5 is the narrativism chapter. Okay, so we've got begin working narrativism to-do list. We're working on that. And then I need to create chapter 3. Well, we're basically doing that for the free write. And then the revising the Brian QP as needed. I have recently submitted that to my advisor. I think I did it just at the end of June. Haven't gotten comments back on that, so that's not an eligible task right now. Sweet. So now we can go back to Monday, and I'm going to break these things into little chunks. So begin working on the narrativism to-do list. Now to break that down, we need to, guess what? Look at the to-do list. So here we have the to-do list. Now let me just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. There's like 17 items. So obviously some of these items are more intense than others. Like, let's just take a look here at the back. I need to fix the organization. I need to organize the paper in a totally different way. That's obviously a quite hefty task, whereas this one is just clarify the claim that one must live narratively. These are very different sized tasks, but because I haven't organized these any further than this, an easy way for me to quantify what's going on is to just count and make a guess. So if there's 17 of these and I want to get this done by the end of the month, which if we go over to this spread and we're on this week, I really have 2 weeks and a little bit. So if there were 20 and I got 10 done each week, that would get me there. So let's just try to do 10 items from the Jeff to-do list. Now, it may turn out that I'm not really going to do 10. It might turn out that I need to focus on 1 because it like changes everything else. And when I'm selecting which items to do, I will more carefully go through the list. But rather than give me no targets, it's useful for me to estimate here that I'm just going to get 10 done. So there we go. That's taking care of begin working. It's quantifying that. Free write every day, so that's pretty easy. We're gonna do the med chapter, that's for meditation. And all I have to do is write at least 1 pomo for every work day. I'm not working on Friday this week, so I'm only gonna do that for 4 days. Trip logistics, so I tend to do logistical stuff down here. So we need to secure the Airbnb because that hasn't worked out. I need to, that's the main thing I need to do, I think, securing the Airbnb. Securing needed materials for Dad. I just need to check in and see if he needs anything. Okay. Teaching portfolio. I don't even know where to start with that. So we're gonna review the materials I was given about the teaching portfolio. I do have a lot of my class prepped at this point, so maybe I can draw on that stuff. So I need to review that, and then I just need to like either sketch it, like what to include. Obviously I can't do like student reviews. So I need to sketch what's possible to include, and then maybe make a game plan for what to collect during this term that I'm teaching. Okay, so that's good. Get Newman set up, so I need to schedule a meeting with him. Newman meeting. And then have said meeting. I really need to get this done this week, otherwise he's not going to have a lot of time to contribute to the things. And then as a teacher, so this is more like my regular work, so it moves back up to the top. This is not always in, it's not always prioritized, but I do generally keep the more research-oriented things at the top and the more like life things down here. So sorry, I totally forgot what I was saying. Oh, right. So I need to determine if we're giving a class to essay number 2. And then I need to write the prompts. I might do that first. And then depending on how difficult I think it's going to be for them, we'll decide if they need to have some group time to think it through. Write prompts for essay number 2. And then maybe like adjust rubric. I'm supposed to meet with somebody to go over my rubric that I created for essay number 1, but I'm not doing that until next week. So we might adjust the rubric list, so we might not. But that's my guess on how to like do this well. So, you know, there's a lot of guessing in this, and I think that's hard for a lot of people. You know, especially if you're very type A like me, you really want to know precisely what you're doing and exactly how you're doing it. But honestly, that is not the nature of research, and you gotta learn to be okay with that. If you're going to approach things in this kind of planner-like way and you want to hold yourself accountable, you gotta recognize that like sometimes you just gotta guess. Like, I'm gonna work on 10 things and we'll see how that works out. So I will let you guys know as soon as I can, whether that is on Thursday because that's the end of my work week, or if that is the following week. I am not sure, but I will let you know exactly how this week's gone and how close to reality or far off my guessing has been. Thanks so much for tuning in.